Hi, I'm Urmi. Today is a Saturday morning, and what a beautiful morning it is. Well, I'm going to start with my everyday dose of high energy mantras. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Gurur Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I bow to that Shri Guru who embodies the presence of Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva. The Guru is the master of the Lord. Karagre vasate Lakshmi, Karamadhye Saraswati, Karamule tu Govindaha, Prabhate Karadarshanam. Every morning, one should respectfully look at one's hand and seek blessings of Lakshmi, goddess of wealth, who resides in the foremost part of the hand. Saraswati, the goddess of learning, who resides in the palm. And Govinda, the Lord Narayana, who resides at the root, that is near the wrist. Well, today me and a lot of my young friends are planning to go to one of my favorite places, the temple. Do you want to come with us? Well, let's go.
Orange juice and lemon, sold for a penny. All the schoolgirls are so many. The grass is green and the rose is red. Remember me when
Hi everyone.
Hi! Where is Didi? Yes, but really, where are we going?
I know it's going to be a fun place. Yes, Didi always takes us to interesting places. Here comes Didi.
Hi and namaste everyone.
Namaste, Didi.
Okay, so is everybody ready to go?
Well, Didi, we are, but some of our friends have yet to come.
Okay, that's fine. We'll wait for them.
Where are we going, Didi?
Well, we all are going to the temple of Lord Ayyappa.
Didi, I like going to the mandir, but I really don't know why we go to a mandir.
Well, that's a great question. We go to the temple to be blessed by immense power and positiveness. See the statues in the mandir? Well, they are not ordinary statues. When they are placed in the temple, the priests chant Vedic mantras and do rituals to invite the gods to reside into the statues. So these statues are not just ordinary. They are representations of God Himself. Well, so when you go to the temple and pray with a lot of devotion, you can get a lot of peace and a lot of happiness just like that. Hi Shloka. Well, all ready to go to the temple?
Yes, Didi, here I am. But Didi, why are we going today?
The day on which we go to the temple depends on the god or the goddess you worship. In Hinduism, we have gods and goddesses that are associated with every day of the week. Sunday is Ravivar, the day of the sun or Lord Surya. Ravi is another name for Surya. Monday or Somvar belongs to the moon. The moon resides on the head of Lord Shiva, and hence this day is of Lord Shiva. Tuesday or Mangalvar is ruled by Mars, Mangal. This day one worships Lord Hanuman and Lord Ganesh. Wednesday or Budhvar belongs to Mercury and is Lord Krishna's day. Thursday or Guruvar is Jupiter or Guru's day. Many worship Sai Baba on this day. Friday or Shukravar is ruled by Venus. It is the day one prays to Lakshmi and Devi. Saturday or Shanivar is the day of the Saturn and is Lord Shani's day. Many worship Lord Ayyappa on this day. So, since I pray to Lord Ayyappa, I go to the temple on
Saturday.
Right, that's very good.
But Didi, Monday for one god, Tuesday for another god. It's so confusing.
I know it's very confusing, but all of you have to remember is that in Hinduism, we have only one God. Okay, this God is very difficult. Touch, feel, understand. So then we have Brahma, the creator. We have Vishnu, the preserver. Shiva, the destroyer. We have Hanuman, who represents faith. Saraswati, who represents knowledge. And Lakshmi, who represents wealth. And so on. So we have all these gods and they represent one aspect of this ultimate reality, which is God.
Well, Didi, I read somewhere that Hindus have 330 million gods. How's that possible? Really, Siddharth?
Well, he's right, you know. One of the principles of Hinduism is that all living creatures are not apart from God Himself. There is God within all of us. Well, there's God in you, and there is God in you, and there's God in the dog, and there's God in the butterfly. And when you add all of them together, it must come to around 330 million gods. Okay, so that is why we use this number just to symbolize that there is God in all living creatures.
What is Namaste? We are forever doing it.
Well, Namaste is a very powerful gesture in our religion. It means that I recognize the God lies within you and I respect the God.
But greetings for elders is not just Namaste, right? We generally touch their feet.
Yes, you're absolutely right. We show our respect to the elders and noble souls to our parents by touching their feet. And they in turn give us blessings by putting their hand over our head. And what are blessings? They are all the good thoughts and the wisdom and the knowledge that the elders want to give us. So whenever you see an elder, rush and go and take all the blessings you want.
Didi, when are we going to the temple? I want to eat the Rami Prasad.
Arjun!
Urmi Didi, Hanuman is a monkey, so how can he be a god?
Well, all living beings have God in them, right? So we have animals that are gods too. We have the monkey god Hanuman and the elephant god Ganapati and the lord of the birds Garuda and many, many more. All these animals who are gods have many worshippers. They even have mandirs specially built for them.
We also worship the cow, right?
Very true. The cow is highly respected in our religion. Do you know why? Because she's so generous. She gives us what's hers, milk, without asking anything in return. And from that, we make curd and ghee. These make an important part of our diet and help us to be strong in mind and body. In Hinduism, even snakes are not considered evil, but are treated with a lot of respect and devotion. They are associated with many Hindu gods and are hence godlike themselves. Sheshnag, the snake with 6 hoods, is the vehicle of Lord Vishnu. Lord Shiva has a snake around his neck. There is even a festival, Nag Panchami, dedicated to the snake god.
We have plant gods too, right, Didi?
Well, I think you're right. I think you're talking about Tulsi. And Tulsi is not just a plant. Well, it's time to go to the temple now. But where is Tanmay? Oh.
Hi everyone.
Hi, Tanmay. What happened, Tanmay? You're late.
Yes, I am late. I went for a Sanskrit class and they taught me the Gayatri Mantra.
Well, that's a fantastic mantra. Do you know that the Gayatri Mantra is the mother of all the mantras? Rishis way back in time selected the words of the Gayatri Mantra and arranged them in such a fashion that if someone chants them all the time, then he gets a lot of wisdom. Wisdom to do what is right in spite of any difficulties. Do you all know it? Shall we all say it?
Yes.
Okay, great. Close your eyes, hands together, and let's say it. Om Bhur Swaha. Om Tat Saviturvarenyam. Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi. Om Diyo Yona Prachodayata. O God, Thou art the giver of life, remover of pain and sorrow, the bestower of happiness, O Creator of the universe. May we receive Thy supreme sin-destroying light. May Thou guide our intellect in the right direction.
Sanskrit, what's that?
Sanskrit is the language of mantra, of spiritually empowered sounds. Gurur Brahma, Karagre Vasate Lakshmi, Gayatri Mantra, which we said earlier,
Yes.
are all in Sanskrit. Sanskrit is one of the oldest languages of the world. We all know about Mahabharata and Ramayana, right? Well, they are written in Sanskrit too.
There is Om before all mantras. What is Om?
Well, that's a great question, Anushka. Well, Om is one of the most chanted sound symbols in Hinduism. It is said that this sound was created when there was a big bang and the earth was created. Om is not pronounced as OM but as AUM, Aum. And this sound is the sum and the substance of all the sounds that the human throat can generate. So, let's go to the temple. First, we remove our footwear and wash our hands and feet. Whatever is dirty and polluted, we remove and clean. While entering the temple, we ring the bell. The ringing of the bell produces the auspicious sound of Aum and also drowns any sound that might disturb or distract the worshippers. By ringing the bell, we declare that we are now only thinking of the God. Then we do the puja. First, we offer water. And then we light the lamp. The lamp is then waved in a circle around God. We then take the Aarti. We place our hands around the flame of the lamp and place it on our heads to take his blessings. Later, we take the prasad. Then we do the parikrama or the pradakshina. The pradakshina is done in a clockwise manner with the god on our right as our guide to lead a great life. By doing the circle around the god, we recognize him as the center of our lives.
Did you like the temple?
I really liked.
What about you, Sonia? Weren't there so many idols?
Yes.
Has anyone been to any famous temples?
Yes, I have visited the Siddhi Vinayak temple.
Which temple?
Birla temple.
Yes, I have been to the Tirupati temple. Meenakshi temple.
Been to the temple in Haridwar. It's so beautiful.
Well, have you realized that all the temples have very similar structures? First we enter through the Gopura, that is the main gateway to the temple, and then we come to the Ardhamandap, that is the place where a person can pray and meditate. In front of the Ardhamandap is the Garbhagriha. This is the place where all the statues are kept. But do you realize that you are not allowed to enter the Garbhagriha? It is only the priests that are allowed to enter. Then we have the Vimana, that is the topmost part of the temple. It is generally in the shape of a lotus and it attracts all the positive and the powerful vibrations that are there in the universe. And of course, one can't forget the prakaras. These are the pathways around the temple that help us take the pradakshina.
Wow, everything is so planned in the temple. I really didn't know all this.
I'm going to tell you a very interesting story I know about Lord Ganpati and Pradakshina. Listen. Lord Ganpati and his brother Kartikeya once had an argument on who was the smarter of the two. When Lord Shiva, their father, heard about this, he set them a challenge. He said, whoever takes a parikrama around the world and was first would be declared the smartest. Well, Lord Kartikeya sat on his peacock and zoomed off. But Lord Ganpati got up and took a parikrama around his parents. He declared, my parents are my world, and so when I take a parikrama around my parents, well, I'm done. Lord Shiva and Parvati had to agree that Lord Ganpati was indeed very smart.
Lord Ganapati is really smart.
It is a really cute story.
This is a really yummy prasad.
Arjun!
Yes, Arjun, it's a very yummy prasad. But you know what? It is not just food. It is the food of the god. In Hindu scriptures, we have recipes for each of the prasad that the gods like. So Lord Satyanarayan likes,
Suji ka halwa.
and Lord Ganapati,
Modak.
and Lord Tirupati loves?
The laddu.
Once it is offered to the god, it cannot be treated like a sweet or a dessert. It is God's food and He is sharing it with us. So we must feel honored and blessed. You know, there is a prasad my mother used to make. It is called the Panchamrit. Panch, 5, and Amrit means nectar. 5 nectars. It is a very yummy prasad and it makes one very strong in mind and in health. Well, let's go and see how it's made. To make Panchamrit, take milk 2 teaspoons, sugar half a teaspoon, curd whisked till smooth 1 teaspoon, pure ghee 1/4 teaspoon, honey 1 teaspoon. Mix together all the ingredients in a bowl and your Panchamrit is ready. Well, have all of you finished your prasad?
Yes, Didi.
Well, now it's time to go home. But we have been to the mandir and had a wonderful time, right?
Yes, Didi.
And we have learned a lot about being a Hindu and going to the temple.
We have fantastic gods and powerful mantras. We respect knowledge and wisdom.
We have God in us. We have grand mandirs and lovely rituals.
And the best prasad.
Arjun.
Well, I hope all of you had a great time joining us on this special trip to the temple. Well, see you next time.